Would you like to have an offer that is so irresistible that people are waiting impatiently in line, wrapped around the building, eagerly awaiting the moment when they'll finally be able to give you their credit card? Like, can you imagine that as a business owner? Like, just picture that in your mind. How would that feel? Like this line wrapped around, they're just waiting for you. Like, where do I give my credit card? So breathe that in for a moment, because you're in luck. Today, we're going to dive deep into how you can create an offer that is literally, it just literally sells like hotcakes. And we'll be getting that insider ninja tips on how to do all this with our guest today, Susan Crum. So buckle up. And I'm also Angie Engstrom.
And I'm Kira Adgard. And we've been looking so much forward to having you here today, Susan. So welcome. It's
Thank
great
you.
having you here.
Thank you. And thank you for the warm welcome, ladies. I'm honored and delighted to be here.
Woohoo.
Thank you. We've also been looking forward to sharing your message with our audience because we know that a lot of our audience, they're actually coaches. And they're looking for ways to articulate and position their offer in a way that isn't salesy. And we know that's what you actually do, Susan. So we're really looking forward to this.
Thank you.
Now, you're welcome. Now, some of you may not know Susan, so I'm just going to introduce you. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cute. Okay. As a business coach and expert in sales, Susan, she has actually helped clients create online business and generate multiple six figures in the first 12 months. She has lots of high-ticket sales experience selling everything from offers of $2,000 to $100,000. She's also a speaker, she's an author, and she actually has her own foundation, the Susan D. Crum Foundation. Amazing. And I also wanted to mention that you've also actually overcome personal adversity, being a survivor of breast cancer. You were on your 11th year, you just mentioned before. Yeah, that's
Yes. Yes.
amazing.
This July will be 11 years.
Yeah, so
Congrats.
great.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So welcome, Susan, to Momentum Maker Podcast.
Love it. So excited to be here, ladies. So excited.
Yeah. So real quick, before we get into this, for our listeners' sake, this is going to be an interesting conversation because what Susan does is and she'll explain in just a minute, she focuses with coaches, helping them with their one-on-one sales calls. And what Geety and I do with Elite Virtual Stages is we, instead of doing the one-on-one sales calls, we just get everybody in a big room and do what she's about to explain in a virtual event. So it's an interesting, we're doing the same thing in just two different ways. She does it on the phone. We're doing it in an event. So Susan, tell us what inspired you to start your business?
Well, thank you again, ladies, for having me. And I always welcome the opportunity to share a little bit about my story and what got me to where I'm at here today. And I will just say, like, for anyone out there that is listening, I can tell you, I know what it feels like to be in a career that you love, a career that is, it's gratifying, fulfilling, but yet you feel like there's more inside of you. And that was me a little bit more than a decade ago. Most of my career was in the nonprofit sector, but ladies, the best way I can describe it, I said, I literally physically felt like there were chains just wrapped around me, holding me back from really tapping in and unlocking my true potential. I knew that I was made for more. I knew that there was more for me to do. There was more for me to give. What that looked like, I had no clue. And I'm so glad, and thank you for bringing up, I always like to kind of give a testimonial with my overcoming breast cancer. But you know what? That was the door that opened, that put me on the path to becoming an entrepreneur. I was a single mom. And again, I had a really good job in the nonprofit sector, but I'm like, how do I just leave this and go pursue what I think is more? Because I had no idea what it looked like. I had no idea how to do it. I always felt like I had a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit in me, but how in the world do I make it happen, right? But once I embarked upon that journey, long story short, I ended up having to resign my position, both in the best interest for me and at the time, the university that I was working for. But I saw this as an opportunity that maybe perhaps this was the path. And so I began, moving forward on this path. I first actually published a book, just to be totally honest. And, anytime you publish a book, you just kind of become a speaker, right? People want you to come share your story, talk about your book. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like this has given me a platform and a stage to share with people, share my story, share my passion. That kind of opened the door, but I still knew there was more. So when all of that happened with the breast cancer and I ended up having to resign my position, I decided this is the path I'm going to pursue. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm going for it. I'm going to go chase my dream. Because ultimately, like I said, I knew there was something more inside of me that I had to give to help people, inspire people moving forward. So I long story short, became a coach. And again, just started using, the different modalities, the different deliverables to work with people, inspire people, and help people. And I will tell you, for any of you out there that is, maybe on a very similar journey, it's, things change, right? Things evolve as you grow. And my entrepreneurial journey certainly has. But it has brought me to the place today that I do have the opportunity to share my gifts, my experience, my expertise to help other people build and create their online businesses, become that entrepreneur, fire their boss. I had someone tell me the other day, Susan, I want to fire my boss. I said, well, let's do it, right? But the specific piece here that I am so passionate about, Angie, as you were talking about earlier, is the ability, the strategy to be able to inspire people to say yes to themselves and yes to their dreams. I don't believe in the field that we're in as coaches. And yes, we may be, quote, selling programs, we're making offers, but at the end of the day, our prospective clients are not saying yes to us. They're not saying yes to our programs. They're not saying yes to our offers. They are saying yes to themselves. They are making these investments into themselves to get the results that they want, because we all know it's results that people want and it's results that people buy. So I feel very privileged to be able to share my experience and expertise specifically in that realm of the whole kind of circle here of, creating, building an online business. That's all great, but you've got to have the ability to really master that enrollment conversation, get people inspired, and again, really get them inspired to say yes to themselves.
I love that. Say yes to
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's such a great distinction. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So
And,
what-
the investment that they're making into themselves, if we look at it from this perspective as coaches, we're inspiring them to say yes to themselves. That investment they're making into themselves is going to pay for itself over and over and over again.
So true. So true.
Absolutely. So what exactly is your business? What is the result that you get? Who are your clients and what is the result you give for them?
So primarily coaches and or aspiring coaches, a lot of people, we say this, right? Very often we are our own ideal client, like the Susan 10, 11 years ago, right?
Right.
Again, I loved the job that I had. As a single mom, though, it was, I was traveling a lot, working a lot of even early mornings, late evenings, weekends. And, I so I wanted to be the yoga pants mom, ladies. You know what I'm talking That was me. I wanted to be a yoga pants mom, but I would seem like I was always the one like calling my other friends, hey, can you pick up Austin at school? Can you take him to ball practice? Can you take him to church? Because I was always so busy and consumed and traveling with my work. I really wanted to be that yoga pants mom. I wanted to be a more present mom. And so even though like a lot of people had the same aspirations I did, again, I can still help them get there. If they are a coach, but they're struggling in their business with consistency of both leads and revenue, again, the foundation applies to both. It applies to that Susan 10, 11 years ago who's trying to dream big and achieve more and have a lifestyle friendly business, but it's still the same foundation to help those coaches who may be struggling in their coaching business, whether it's online or in person.
Wonderful.
So do you have a specific process for doing that? Would you like to share with the audience?
Yeah, so I will just kind of give a 10,000-foot overview. Like I think with everything, you need an effective strategy. When you're
Absolutely.
going at things alone, right? And I did
Yeah.
for about 18 months myself. So I can't say anything, ladies. I did it too, because I'm thinking I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I can figure this out, right? But I can
Yeah.
tell you, I have the scars from the bruised knees and elbows trying to go at it alone for about a year and a half. But I think with anything, if you're serious and if you're committed, to anybody out there, don't waste time trying to figure something out on your own. Find a coach, find a mentor, find someone that's gone before you, someone who's paved the way before you, and let them coach and mentor you. So you can collapse time, begin to create results in a much shorter period of time. And maybe even more importantly, avoid making a lot of costly mistakes. So I think it's really important that there is a strategy, there is a system to follow. I use like a 7-step system, if you will, to help clients. And this is kind of a comprehensive system from beginning to end, and again, either creating something online with a signature program or helping them take what they've already been doing, and helping them scale their business. But also the same is true if you're only focusing on the enrollment, on your strategy sessions. Having those strategies that allows you to position yourself as the expert that you are, that allows you to demonstrate your mastery. It allows you to show that prospective client, you know what you're talking about. You have a solution to help them. And that solution should be, if it's not, to all the listeners, should be your one signature program. I always say very often we meet clients on the island of today. But after we start, having a conversation with them, finding out what is important to them, what they want to do, become, or have, then they begin to paint the island of their vision, of their dream. So it's our responsibility, if it is a match, right, to be able to support that client and get them from the island of where they are today to get them in that boat headed to the island of their dream. So I think everything, and the other thing too, when you have effective strategies, you're not wasting time trying to reinvent the wheel. Because when you have an effective strategy, you have an effective system, you just rinse and repeat it. So again, you're collapsing a lot of time, you're saving yourself a lot of time, you're working smarter rather than harder, and you're also avoiding a lot of costly mistakes if in fact those strategies are effective.
So you primarily help coaches that either are wanting to get into the coaching space or they're already in and they just need to get that strategy put together that they've been trying to piece together.
Yes.
And you've got
Yes.
the plan so they get
Yes.
flowing in their business. I love it.
Exactly. A lot of clients that I work with, they start either enrolling clients into their program or kind of taking their business to the next level, typically in about 30 days.
Gotcha. Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you share an example of a a successful client story? We all love to listen to those.
I would love to. One that comes to mind, a client, we'll call her Sally, right? And I think this is a great example of just being raw and real, okay? So I've been working with Sally for about 30 days. This was going into about our 5th week of working together. And even though she knew other clients were getting results, she was not. So one of the things I do pride myself in, ladies, is I really do try to create a very safe space for clients where, sometimes we just have to be raw and be vulnerable and be transparent and be honest. So I was in the process, I was about to wrap up in the call, and she finally spoke up and she said, Susan, I'm not ready. I said, okay, I hear you. And why do you think you're not ready? So she begins to tell me and share all these things. Well, I don't have this and I don't have that, and I've not done this and I've not done that. And I let her get it all out because it was very clear to me the only thing holding her back was herself. So my style, I like to keep things very permission based because I like to continue building rapport and trust with my clients. So I looked at her and I said, Sally, thank you for being totally honest. I get it. Would it be okay if I give you some feedback that I think would really help you? So I'm coaching her through like all of these limiting beliefs and mindset blocks. And I knew she had a big breakthrough. I thought that was the end of it. This was on a Thursday afternoon. Friday morning, I get a text from her and it says, holy crap, I just enrolled a client paid in full at $5,000.
Whoa.
That was at like 10:30 on Friday morning. Less than 24 hours ago, she's sitting here telling me why she's not ready. She went on that weekend to generate $14,000. And about a couple of months ago, she's on track to generate 7 figures this year.
That's awesome. Very
Yeah,
good.
amazing
You know,
results.
I think, again, what she was experiencing, number one, I was so grateful that she just shared, just, again, radically, totally honest and transparent. Because so many times and here's another thing too, I think when we get really close to our next big breakthrough, that's when those little voices, that fear really
Mm.
begins to set in. And I really feel that it's what was happening that day. She was successful before I found her, but she was, or before she found us, rather. She was just looking to kind of transition her delivery of what she was doing, take her business to the next level. And so just all those voices like, you can't do this, right? Like all that self-doubt and limiting belief begins to set in. But here's what I would say to any listener out there, anyone even watching this. Those feelings, those fears, those little voices, that imposter syndrome is totally normal. But at the end of the day, is our desire to succeed greater than our fear? Because if it is, we can bring ourselves back. We can bring ourselves back to that point where we know what we're capable of. It's almost like we have a rebuttal. Those little voices are saying this, and we're just sitting here just collapsing, just dying inside, right? Or those little voices start and we go, okay. And we have a rebuttal for that. So that's just, I think, a really, really great reminder that those things are totally normal, especially in our industry, especially when it comes to enrollment and sales, when it comes to marketing, putting yourself out there, right? And so I think just really normalizing it and again, coaching her through it. She was obviously very open, very coachable. But that was the beginning of a really big breakthrough for her. And I still celebrate that moment. It was really a defining moment, even in my career too, because I knew she experienced such a big breakthrough. What I didn't expect was to get a text less than 24 hours later. She literally went and implemented exactly what I coached her to do. And she got, one of her first high ticket sales in less than 24 hours.
That's awesome.
Mm.
Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's always so fun to hear all the success stories.
Yeah. And it's that gratification, ladies, the fulfillment of something like that is why I do what I do. We all are in business to generate revenue. And I also know like the more we can generate, the more we can give back. That's kind of my philanthropic thread in my tapestry here. But, at the end of the day, it's like, wow, perhaps, I had a small part in helping Sally achieve X or Y or Z.
Mm.
Just that gratification of seeing other people on their journey to achieving their goals, their dreams, their vision. It's
Mm.
so gratifying. And that's why my feet hit the floor every morning, is to be able to inspire other people. Because I can tell you ladies and all the listeners out there, when I made this decision more than a decade ago, it was an incredibly difficult decision for lots of reasons. I was not in a good financial place, just to be honest. But you know what? I was one decision away. And Maggie Chu took a stand for me that day. It was in April. And because she took a stand for me, that one decision I made totally changed the trajectory of my life, both personally,
Mm.
professionally, and financially. And to this day, I'm forever grateful to her, as a coach, as a friend, as a mentor, because a lot of other people would probably have just said, well, Susan, I wish you the best. Like how is she going to make this happen? Well, I wanted it so badly. I got resourceful and I made it happen. And I think that's another key
Mm.
here too. I think people have to want it, you know?
Mm.
Again, people aren't often inspired by what they need. We have to want it. And
Mm.
this is what I wanted for me and my son Austin at the time, a little bit more than a decade ago. And I believe if people don't have the resources, they can get resourceful if they really want it.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's so true. So
I,
true.
I want to elaborate a little bit on Maggie, because just for the listener's sake, so Maggie was she was the gal on the other end on the enrollment call, enrolling you into your next step. And
Mhm.
that's what you teach
Yes.
coaches, to be that person that stands
Yes.
for the person on the other side of that phone, because they're there because of something.
Yes.
And by being trained up as a coach to be able to handle that conversation, that enrollment call, enrolling them into themselves, it's just such a beautiful thing that you do. I love
It
that.
Mm.
is. It is. And again, she took a stand for my transformation that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
And
think,
that changed your life
oh
actually.
my gosh, it did.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it was because of what she did for me more than 10 years ago. That's why I'm
Mm.
so passionate today about taking a stand for other people, for their dreams, for their goals, for their visions. I had someone, this has been several years ago, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. It was a gentleman. We were having the enrollment conversation, and I'm talking like, I forget exactly what I was saying, but he literally interrupted me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, did I say something? I didn't know what was about to happen. And he said, I just want to say thank you. And I said, for? He said, I can't tell you the last time someone asked me what was important to me.
Mm.
And I was like,
So powerful. Yes.
yeah. And I find that sometimes to be the case in talking with prospective clients, even though we've met 30 minutes ago, they're telling me things that they've not even shared with their husband or their wife,
Mm.
their children, their best friend. And I think that's also a really key piece here in really creating that safe space where people can just be, again, radically vulnerable, honest,
Mm.
transparent with you. Life is short, isn't it, ladies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just hosted a workshop a few moments ago
Ah.
about that workshop. And I shared this quote with them as well, because we were talking about kind of this very thing. And it's a quote by Les Brown. I have it literally taped here on my desk. And it's the quote that says, the graveyard is the richest place on earth, because it is here that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled,
Mm.
the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, all because someone was too afraid.
Mm.
And, I really let that quote serve and drive me in kind of on many
Mm.
levels, because that's exactly what I don't want to see happen in the lives of our clients, let alone mine, but anyone that, just like me, that knows that there's more within them, there's
Mm.
more they want to do, there's more potential to unlock, more ceilings to break through, to live a life of gratification, fulfillment, knowing you're making a difference in the lives of other people.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that quote. It's so powerful.
It's very powerful. And that's why I have it taped
Mm.
right here on my desk.
Yeah, I
behind me.
get that.
So awesome. Well, as we wrap this up, Susan,
Yes.
is there any last comments you want to make before we ask you the final question to send everybody on their way?
I would just say, to our listeners or viewers, number one, as coaches and or aspiring coaches, I just want to say thank you and honor everyone for what they're doing.
Mm.
I think it's such a gift to be able to serve and support other people. I think it's a gift to be able to inspire other people on their dreams, visions, and goals. I think it's a gift to be able to transform the lives of people through our experiences, our expertise, our skills, our knowledge, our certifications, our education, bringing all of this to the table. I want to say thank you to both of you for what you're doing, the impact that you're making in the work that you're doing. And through this podcast, sharing with other people and allowing other people to get their messages out. There's the little story about the starfish making a difference, where the little boy is walking down the beach, throwing the starfish back in the surf, and the old man comes walking up. He's like, "Son, what are you doing?" Right? And he goes, "Well, I'm throwing the starfish back in the surf. If I don't, they're going to die." And he's like, "Son, don't you know there's miles and miles of beach and starfish along the surf?" The little boy looks at him, looks down, grabs another starfish, throws it back in the ocean, and he says, "I made a difference for that one."
Yeah.
Love that one. Yeah,
So I may be making a difference. Each of you may be making a difference. All of our listeners, viewers may be making a difference, but look at the aggregate of
Mm.
everything collectively we are doing to inspire our clients, create transformation in the lives of those that we serve.
Mm.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, that is so great.
That's awesome. Yeah, so is there anything else that you can think of that would hold someone back from taking that step of working with you or any coach? Speak to that for just a moment and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, I think two things, Angie, kind of come to mind really quickly. I know it's important to find the right coach, the right mentor, if you will. And that's what I was saying too earlier. Like, I would encourage anyone, if you're going on this path alone, it's going to be a long road. Can you get there on your own? Possibly, but you can get there a lot faster if you are surrounding yourself with a coach, a mentor, community of other like-minded individuals. Also, the one thing that holds people back, and again, this is a workshop I do on turning objections into opportunity. Unfortunately, just like the quote I just shared by Les Brown, I think the one thing that holds people back more than anything, ladies, is that little 4-letter F word, fear.
Mm.
But I think for each of us, we have to decide what's greater. Is our desire to achieve, in my case, become a yoga pants mom, have a lifestyle friendly business that I can just help tap into my potential and release the gifts that I felt I knew I had inside me? I just don't know how in the heck to do it. Or that fear, which is greater. And I
Mm.
think for everybody out there, you have to decide what that is for you. Is your desire to succeed greater than your fear? Or is your fear greater?
Mm.
And if your fear is greater, I would just say this: you're not alone. And I think one of the best ways to combat fear and overcome fear is to find a coach, find a mentor, find someone that's already gone before you and paved the way that you want to follow. Surround yourself with a circle of influence of people that share your vision, they share your dream. Because when you begin not taking any action, but when you begin taking the right focused action, following that coach, following that mentor, you're going to get results in your business. And that's going to shorten the runway for your success. And that fear, I'm not going to say it's going to be totally alleviated, but again, you're going to have enough within you, greater self-value, self-worth, acceptance, knowledge to handle that fear and not let it be a stumbling block on your path to your dream. Use it as a stepping stone and keep going.
Love
Don't
it.
ever give and don't ever quit on your dreams.
Never quit on your dreams.
No, yeah, that is amazing. It's sort of like the quote you just shared with from Les Brown. You know, stop putting all of those dreams into the graveyard and start living them. So yeah.
And one more thing I'll add before we wrap up. If for those of you out there waiting for the right time, you'll always be waiting.
Ah,
Mm.
You will always
Dropping gold.
you will always be waiting.
so true. So true.
Don't wait on it. Create it. Make it happen.
I love it. Create it, make it happen. Yay. So if our listeners are interested in learning more about you, Susan, where could they find out some more information?
Yeah. So a couple of really quick ways. One, you're welcome to reach out to me via email. I'm totally fine with that. My email is really simple. It's like my name, which is Susan, Susand, as in Denise, Crum, Crum, as in Mary, Susan D. Crum at Gmail. You can also find me on Facebook at Susan D. Crum.
I love simple.
Great.
That's awesome.
Yes, keep it simple, keep it clear, but effective, right?
I love it.
So true.
Yes.
So if you want to know more about Susan, perhaps work with her, you can send her an email on Susan D, like in Denise, Crum, like in Mary, at gmail.com.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And ladies, thank you so much for having me. And again, thank you for what you are both doing in this industry as well, the lives you're impacting, transforming. I honor you and I say thank you for all the work that you're doing too. It's to be admired.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
That means a ton.
Means a lot.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We need that
does.
for each other. Coaches need
Yes.
coaches.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Exactly.
I always say it's easier to inspire someone else to do something you've already gone before them and done.
So true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Gidi, let's wrap it up.
I'm Giddy.
And I'm awesome Angie Engstrom. And thanks for listening to Momentum Maker Podcast. So keep your momentum, keep moving forward. And if you want to learn more about what Gidi and I are doing with Elite Virtual Stages, if you're wanting to scale your business using virtual stages, you can find us on the web and on Facebook at elitevirtualstages.com/fill, F-I-L, as in fill your events. And so Susan, thank you so much.
You're so
It's been an
welcome. Thanks for
honor
having
to have
me.
you on the show. And stay momentum, everybody.
Yes.